Hi, my name is Matt Fox. I'm the VP of Product and Engineering here at TopLeft. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can customize how certain tickets look on your TopLeft Kanban boards. The reason you might want to do this is if you have a Kanban board showing you tickets, variety of different types of tickets, and maybe some of them are more important than others, and you want to highlight those so that they're easy to find. As a specific example, you might have tickets on two different ConnectWise boards that appear on a single Kanban board. And one of those boards is much more important than the others. And so you want to highlight the tickets that show up on your Kanban board from that particular ConnectWise board. And so I'll show you how to do that in this video here. A couple things to note is at the moment, this is only supported for ConnectWise tickets. So not for ConnectWise projects and not for Autotask records. And you do need to be an administrator to set this up. So let's jump in. I'll share my screen. So here's an example of a TopLeft Kanban board showing ConnectWise tickets. These ones are showing tickets from two different ConnectWise boards. You can see the little label here. If you look closely, there's one as an example from the admin board, and we have a couple other here from the Windows board. Now let's suppose that the one from the Windows board is a lot more important than the ones from the admin board, and so I want to highlight these somehow because as it is pretty difficult. You got to really look closely to see which ones are on the Windows board. So to get started, you just click here under Profiles, and this gives you a list of the style profiles that have been set up. So we just have a default profile to start out with. You can't edit that one. So I'm going to add a new profile, and I'm going to click. I'm going to give it a name. Call it Highlight Windows Board. And within this profile, I can set up any number of rules that I want. So a profile is just a collection of rules, and the multiple rules allow you to actually match on multiple things. So for example, I could match on the ConnectWise board, but I could also match on other things too. As an example, maybe the things that are over budget, because you might want to be matching on highlighting more than one thing at a particular time. So that's where the multiple rules come in. A rule is just a collection of, well, I should say a rule is made up of two things. It's a series of conditions that define which tickets are we going to match on this rule. And then when they match, the second part of the rule is how do we actually change the styling on that ticket that matches. So when you set up the conditions to match a ticket, they are all they all must match. It's as if you're considering it as a ANDing in terms of Boolean logic there. If you want to do OR logic where only one matches, you can do that effectively with multiple rules. And I can show you as we get to it what parts of the ticket you can style. So within a profile, now I can add a rule. The first one is just always called is the default rule. This always applies. I'm just going to call it default rule here in the name after I've clicked add rule. And I can't change anything about it. I should say I can't change the conditions about it. It always matches. The reasoning for this is that this is to enable you to have a default style. So you may, if you don't want to override anything on the default style, you can just leave all these styling options blank, and then the default rule will just be the standard top left styling. If you want, you can set up custom styles on the default rule, and it will change the style of every ticket. Okay, so now I've got my default rule. Now I want to add the interesting one, and that's going to be where we match. We identify the Windows board. So I'll click add rule again, and this is where I'll highlight the Windows one. I'll give it a name for this rule. I'll call it highlight Windows board. And the condition that I want to use here is this one, the ConnectWise board. As you can see, there's a lot of different conditions that you can use. All of these text-based ones are just fields that you supply, and as long as what you write here appears in the name of that field from ConnectWise, then it will match. So as an example, I can just write Windows here, and that will actually match any ConnectWise board that has Windows in the name. Now, it probably wouldn't be common to have windows in multiple ConnectWise boards. But for example, if I wrote in the status match, if I wrote waiting, well, that's probably going to match more than one status because it just says, hey, if what I fill in here appears anywhere in the name of that field, then it applies. So I'll clear out the status one here. All we're going to use is the ConnectWise board match here. And there's a variety of Boolean options here, and you can just check those, and then they apply. Hopefully the name is clear enough to make it make sense there. So I've done the conditions. Now I'm going to do the styling, and I can override a few things here. One is the left bar on the ticket. We can override that. Traditionally, that indicates the ticket priority, but you can override that. The second thing is background color of the ticket. You can also set a border color, which is more useful if you want to set a border size here, thin, medium, or thick. And you can also change the boldness or the weight of the title. So what I'm going to do here is change the background color, and I can just pick. I'll just pick a blue color there, and click apply. So that's all I need to do here. I'll save my profile, and now I'll go back to my all tickets board, and we'll see if it's highlighting anything yet, and it's not. We don't see that styling applied on this ticket here, which is on the Windows board. So what are we missing? We still need to assign that profile to the columns that we want. It could be that you want to have certain profiles applied for certain columns, but not for others. So for that reason, you still need to go in and edit. Now we need to edit the board and identify that these columns are supposed to be using that new profile that I just created. So here, I just click edit beside the board name, go to the columns editor, and then under the advanced options, I can choose the new profile. So I'll just do that on a couple of columns here, just on ready and scheduled. Under style profile, I'll choose highlight Windows board. I'll also do that on scheduled here. So I've changed these columns to associate them with that new style profile, and I'll click save. It'll take us back to the board, and now we should see those tickets highlighted, and indeed we do. So these are the ones here that are on the Windows board. This is how we get the blue background color from the style profile. And now I can very easily see what tickets here are on that particular board. So I hope that was helpful. As always, if you have any questions or any trouble with that, send an email to help@topleft.team, and we'd be very happy to help you.